Hi, I'm Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. TAS, and welcome to this edition of Talk of TAS. Today I have the honor of having Evelyn Smith Booker. Evelyn Smith Booker is a trailblazer. She's done it all, literally. She went from being a student at North Carolina Central University to eventually becoming a sales manager for Fox News. And I'm talking from one extreme to the next. But Evelyn retired. And when she retired, she wrote the book, A Winner in Spite of. Then she went on and said, okay, I've got a story that I've told, but now I want to share some of the things that helped me to become a winner in spite of. And so then she wrote Peaceful Moments, 365 affirmations and quotations. So today I want to talk with Evelyn about her progression from becoming a winner to now sharing affirmations that have helped her throughout her journey. So, Evelyn, welcome to my show.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. It's a pleasure to be on with you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Well, we're going to just jump right in. I have read your book, Winner in Spite of, and it is a wonderful memoir. But for the audience, Evelyn, give them just a quick snapshot of who you are as far as your birth, which I know, having read the book, was very unique, and then how you transition into becoming a sales manager for Fox News.
Well, I was born in 1951 in a little town called Nina. That's in North Carolina, between Wilmington and Tabor City. A lot of people in Whiteville have heard of those places. And it's funny because on the day that the cow had a calf, the sow had pigs, our cat had kittens, and then Motley, our dog had puppies. So everything happened on the day that I was born. But after 3 days, I went into a coma and slept for 3 days, no eating, nothing. And my mom and dad kept taking me back and forth to the doctor. And on that third day, he said, there's absolutely nothing we can do for your baby. We've never seen this. Either she will wake up or she will not. So my mom and dad got back home and called our pastor, Reverend Flowers, and they called him the pastor with the healing hands. So he prayed with my mom and my dad and my siblings, and he told us to touch and agree, hold hands. And he said, by the time I get to the church at the end of the road, your baby will be awake. We had this long driveway, and as he's backing up, I woke up, and the rest is history. But to answer your question, my mother, when I was a freshman at North Carolina Central University, became very ill. And I left school after first semester my freshman year to take care of her. She'd had a massive stroke. And at that time, they didn't have nurses to come out to help. But to God be the glory, I was able to take care of her, nurse her back to health. And then I returned to North Carolina and still graduated in 4 years with my class. So last year, we celebrated our 50th anniversary having graduated from North Carolina Central. So it's been an interesting ride, but I attributed it all to how our parents raised the 10 of us. And they certainly taught us that will be with us for life. And that's the main reason that I was successful at Capital Broadcasting and went on to tell the story of 30 years in television. And then my newest book, Peaceful Moments, I belong to an intercessory prayer group from my hometown, my cousin Kathy Moore's church. And on Tuesdays, and this one Tuesday after we prayed, my phone rang. My husband and I were on our way to Costco's to pick up some items. And one of the elders or prophetess on the phone said, as we were praying, the Holy Spirit spoke to me that you should do an emergency kit, a little book for our teens. And and the Holy Spirit said it should be Evelyn Booker. I said it did, but as we were shopping, I started thinking, well, what if I did different age groups? Do it in the mornings and one in the evenings / bedtime. And then Dr. Teresa Smith and Peggy Tatum and Katie and I were on our way to Charlotte to celebrate another friend of ours, Jackie, who had written her 100th book. And I was telling them about one lady shared with me, I prophesied, and they said, well, you ought to do some affirmations. And I said, okay, that sounds good. And when I was telling our daughters, they said, Mommy, you give all of your information away. You should document it and do the copyright and actually put it in a book form. And I thought, well, emergency sounds like something negative. What if I came up with a different title? And that's when I came up with Peaceful Moments. And who had done my first book said, I love the idea. Instead of coming up with 12, why don't you do one for each day of the year, 365? Mm-hmm. So that's how we got 365 affirmations. And the sales are going extremely well. People are sending me comments, so I got to get them to actually post their reviews of the book online. But we're real pleased. And just to backtrack 1 minute, the one, A Winner in Spite Of, you'll have to read some of the reviews on that. As Dr. Smith just stated, she thoroughly enjoyed it. And one of the professors at Yale University wrote that it should be mandatory reading for every high school student, every college student, and anybody in corporate America. So it's got some good stuff in it. I encourage you to get a copy, and most importantly, get one of the ones, Peaceful Moments, to share with someone special in your life. It will make a difference.
Absolutely, Evelyn. And thinking about your journey, what advice would you give to a young person, to those who might be over 30, who might be struggling to believe in themselves? Because you have overcome so much in your life.
Yeah, I would tell any and everybody that your current situation does not necessarily dictate your final destination. And everything in life is a choice. You choose the path you're going to take. Your choices can either open an infinite number of doors or shut an infinite number of doors. So it's up to you to make that choice. And there will be days, the most important thing is to keep believing in yourself. There will be days when you'll wake up and things aren't the way you thought they'd be. That's when you tell yourself, you know what, things are going to get better. And no matter what happens during the day, you keep telling yourself things will get better. And guess what? They will. And what makes you successful is, how do you define success? And success means different things. If I were to ask, a group of 20 people to give me their definition of success, it would be totally different for each of them. Success to everybody is different because we're all unique. But what made me successful was my parents taught us early on that you're just as smart, if not smarter, than the next person. And as people of color, you have to work twice as hard for half the recognition. Now let that sink in for a second. You have to work twice as hard for half the recognition. So we've always, all of my siblings and I, no matter what we're doing, we give it 100% plus of our efforts. And when you do that, success is yours.
Evelyn, I like that, 100% plus. And you're right, for some people, and it has traditionally been the case for people of color, Black people, African Americans, whatever vernacular you want to use, that we had to do more, but still got half the credit. And I don't look at that as a bad thing. I look at it as something to keep me motivated. Because again, I'm looking at my finish line. I'm not looking at where I started or the work I had to do, because work is going to be a part of anything if you want to be successful at something. So I like the fact that you kind of put that ribbon on the gift that way, because it is going to take you believing in yourself, and how you define success is going to be different from how others define it. Now, in peaceful moments, you mentioned that there are affirmations for starting the day. Can you share one of maybe your favorite affirmation and how it helps you to set the tone for having a good day? And we know good or incredible is going to be relevant because each day,
Right.
depending on what you're having to do, what you're wanting to accomplish, you're going to look at that differently. And I think, for folks, that's important to keep that in mind also. Just as you said, how you define success is going to be different. How you define a good day or an incredible day is going to be different also. So is there one affirmation
Right.
that really kind of helps you to set the tone for your day?
I'm going to give you two. One is you tell yourself, you look in the mirror as you're getting out of the shower and say, today is going to be an awesome day. Okay? Today is going to be an awesome day. And whatever you have to do that day to make it an awesome day, that's what you do. Again, it's all within you. And the other one is by Shirley Chisholm. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your own folding chair.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I do
And
too. That's one of my favorites.
bring your own, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your
Uh-huh.
own folding chair. And today
That's
is
right.
going to be an amazing day, even if I have to bring my own chair to make it amazing.
That's it. That's it.
I love it. And
Yes.
when you think about it from that perspective, it shifts things because it's not
Uh-huh.
so much the glass is half empty, it's half full. And I'm going to do what's necessary to make it fuller for that particular day.
That's
I
right.
love
And one philosopher said, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits.
it. It never
So if you
quits.
think about that, we're all winners.
Mhm.
And then Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So we've got to believe and know that we can no matter what.
Now Evelyn, now
Yeah.
you're mentoring us right now. I want to make some connections here for folks. You are mentoring us. Those quotes, the affirmations, you are mentoring individuals to help them see the passion that is inside of them can be ignited, can stay ignited, and can lead them to the destination that they want to travel on.
Right.
What if we were thinking just from that mentoring perspective? Because you have mentored a lot of people professionally and
Mhm.
then informally. What has been perhaps the most rewarding aspect of mentoring, and what advice would you give to guide others on their journey?
Um, in that book, A Winner in Spite of, I had the first 5 hires when I told them I was writing the book. My first 5 hires at Capital Broadcasting, WREL TV, and Fox 50 Television actually wrote a letter, and it's in that book. And I titled that section, Paying It Forward. So the advice I would give anybody is to always pay it forward. You can't begin to imagine the number of people that will be affected or impacted positively when you're paying it forward. And guess what? When you do that and you're helping these people grow and mature and become professionals, all of that stuff will come back to your children and your grands. Everything is cyclical. So my advice would be to pay it forward. The knowledge that you have, share it with somebody. And God blesses us to bless others. And the proof is in the pudding, our parents used to say. All 5 of those people that were my first 5 hires, I still hear from them on a daily basis with their spouses and their children, and they're teaching their kids some of the same things that I taught them. So again, it just keeps multiplying and multiplying. And that's rewarding to know that you've had a positive impact on somebody and that they're sharing it with others.
And that's what life's all about, Evelyn. If you think about
It
it,
is.
that's what it's
Mhm.
all about. Now, you've done a lot of firsts because you mentioned some of you highlighted some of them for us today, but you've done a lot of firsts. And
Mhm.
so, as a trailblazer, you integrate the schools, You're a trailblazer in television sales. How did you overcome the barriers that you had to overcome during those times and, and stay focused to achieve what you've achieved?
If somebody told me that I couldn't do something, I would find a way that I could. And again, we were taught that don't let your skin color hold you back. So whenever I encountered someone or something, I would say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And when you've got that solid foundation and you can build on that, I would say learn passages of scripture that you can quote. My mom used to say, if somebody is ugly to you, rude to you, and you haven't given them a reason to be ugly and rude, you quickly whisper a prayer for them. Don't do ugly for ugly, because two wrongs don't make a right. But you quickly whisper a prayer for them because they are the one with the issue. So I've carried that with me. And if somebody's ugly, I whisper a prayer and keep on going. I'm going to do this in spite of.
Oh, I love that, Evelyn. Because
Yes.
people can be a little ugly sometimes.
Yes.
And you've done nothing.
Yes,
and you've done
downright
nothing to them. Yes, they can. They can
Mhm.
be downright rude.
Yes.
So I love that strategy of whispering a prayer and for them and for me too,
Right.
help me to stay regulated, emotionally regulated.
Right. And I would say sometimes, God, bridle my tongue, because if I were to say what's on my mind, it would not be good. So Lord, bridle my tongue. And then when we can both speak as intelligent adults, then we can reconvene. And that's one of the things that I talk about in there. I was one of 5 people selected at Capital Broadcasting to teach Crucial Conversations. And in Crucial Conversations, it teaches you to be able to talk to anybody at any time regarding any subject without feeling there will be repercussions. That's a mouthful. Yes. So what you want to do is ask yourself at the end of this conversation, what is it that I really want to have accomplished? Okay. And you do whatever is in your power. And during that conversation, if you find that the person to whom you're speaking is beginning to get agitated or rude, you control the direction of any conversation. Then you can say, you know what? This is not going the way we intended. So if you'd like to reconvene at a different time, let's set a time and date for that. Again, you control the direction of the conversation.
You know, Evelyn, that is so important. You know, as a coach and a counselor, I'm listening to you as a former higher ed leader. I'm listening to what you're saying because that is so important. And that requires being emotionally and socially aware and intellectually too of what's happening, because you really can avert a disastrous occurrence. I'm gonna say it that way. I can say it differently, guys, but a confrontation or something not ending the way we would like it to, based upon being alert to what's actually happening, and then having the wherewithal to then act appropriately. Don't keep pushing, because you see there's a little resistance there for whatever reason. And if resistance may not have anything to do with you, but this is just not a good time. So you have to stop.
That's it. You got to let those antennas go up and know when to stop or if we continue. Bottom line is, at the end of this conversation, what is it that I really want to have accomplished? And if you're not going to get that done, disperse.
Disperse, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Now,
Evelyn, you have worn a lot of hats.
Yes.
And still wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
How do you manage to juggle all of these different things? Because you're your wife now, your sibling, auntie, grandmother, mother-in-law, mother-in-law, grandmother, church, then all the church things, and all the community things that you still have. And you're just not working anymore but you're still working. You're not working professionally, but you're still working. How do you manage to juggle everything and maintain the emotional balance that you do?
Well, there's a wheel of life, and I don't know if you've seen that with Zig Ziglar, but it's got 7 spokes. Okay. And in that is your emotional, your family, your finances, your physical, all of those. And if any one of those 7 spokes is out of alignment, it knocks everything else out. So to answer your question, what I do is every morning, just like I did when I was working for Capital Broadcasting for 30 years, I have a designated time that I spend with God. And when I was working at Capital, it was 6 a.m. Now it's 7 a.m. But I would pray and ask God to divinely orchestrate my every step for that day. And then when I would drive on the premises at Capital Broadcasting, I would say, Lord, I dedicate this building and all of its occupants to you today. And the same thing now. I keep a calendar. You're right. I'm mentoring 3 people as we speak and teaching them the kinds of things that they will encounter in corporate America. And the most important advice I can give them is to find a mentor, preferably somebody within the company, but if not, an accountability partner that's going to tell you what you should hear, not what you want to hear. So I would pray, and then my days would go well. We set all kinds of records, sales records when I was at Capital Broadcasting. And even before I got into sales management, I was the top salesperson for so many years. And if you walk into Capital Broadcasting today, my name is on the board as salesperson of the month more than anybody in the history, and as salesperson of the year. So the most important advice I could give anybody on how I became successful was I always kept God center and first. And any decision that I make, even today, no matter how big or how small, I consult God. Not my will, Lord, but thine be done. So I want to be where he wants me to be and at what time he wants me to be there.
Evelyn?
Yes.
That was a lot. That was a lot. And and I say that for the audience, it was a lot, because really you have helped them to understand who you have kept at the center of your life. And I think about your birth and how the Reverend Flowers came in, made sure that God was at the center of your life. And then you woke up after 3 days and you have kept God at the center of your life. That practice at 6 a.m. when you were still working. Now it's 7 a.m., that time of praying with God and asking him to help you to set your day. Then the affirmations. And then I think about the gratitude, the expressions of gratitude that are reflected also in the affirmations and the quotations, because having that sense of gratitude in your life also, and then how that helps you, it's almost like wrapping you in a cocoon, how that then helps you to manage all the different expectations and responsibilities that you have, and keep a good countenance. So that's the thing, keep a good countenance about it too.
Yes. In fact, I got just a letter this morning, an email from Healing Transitions. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it's an organization that 3 people started: Jim Goodman's wife, Barbara Goodman, Mrs. Spalding, and Fred Barber, to help people who are strung out on drugs and who are alcoholics. And you go through a 12-step program. Well, I was on the board of directors for them, and then they made me chair. Again, you're talking about firsts. I was the first African-American female to chair the board for Healing Transitions. So they've done a big article, and I'll share that with you. But I got an email just this morning asking if I would be on the board of trustees, that they've nominated me, because I rotated off the board of directors. thinking I was going to take a little bit of a breather. And I was talking with my husband, and he said, well, that's an honor. He said, but think about it. So I wrote them back and said, I'm honored to have been extended this invitation, but I'd like to learn a little bit more about what the role entails. So, so just knowing how to divide your time up. And again, as I stated earlier, keeping God center and first is the most important thing. When you do that, you will find that he will divinely orchestrate your day. And all of the things that you thought could be hindrances, become stepping stones. And then you're still able to help somebody.
Absolutely. Now, Evelyn, in our final moments, what is it that you want the readers to leave with when they pick up and read Peaceful Moments, 365 Affirmations and Quotations? What do you want them to leave with?
I want them to realize that no matter what arises in a day's time, you keep believing in yourself. And you're going to be a winner in spite of. And if they were to take this book, and there are no dates, so your day one is the first day that you pick up the book to start recording. If you read that morning prayer, God gives us 24 hours every day, and we should be able to give him 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening / bedtime. If you were to take that book, read the prayer that's designed for your age group, and then read the affirmation, and at the end of the day, you reflect on what has gone on for that day, and you keep that attitude of gratitude journal. You write down, look at the affirmation at the top or the quotation, and say, now, how is this going to impact my day? And at the end of the day, you take time to look back over your day, and you write down what you're thankful of from that day, and then what you've accomplished that day. So if they could take away those things and document that for a month, they're going to be amazed at what the difference will be in their lives. So the 365 affirmations or quotations, one per day, and see how it will affect you. And then you're going to want to pass this on. We talked about things being cyclical. You'll want to pass it on to someone else.
Well, Evelyn, I believe that if they do what you've said, they will be able to see how far they've come. And there's something in that reflection every day and making the notes that helps us to see just where we are and who we are and what our growth is. So I just want to applaud you for both of your books, A Winner in Spite of, and then Peaceful Moments. Now, where can the audience get these books at, Evelyn?
They can go to Amazon.com, and in the search bar, just put, if they want A Winner in Spite of, just put A Winner in Spite of, Evelyn Booker. And if it's Peaceful Moments, 365 Affirmations. Peaceful Moments, 365 Affirmations. So just go to Amazon.com, and in the search bar, put the name of the book.
Thank you, Evelyn. And how can the audience stay in contact with you or reach out and connect with you?
Yes, you can just go to evelynsbooker.com, and all of my pertinent information is there. You can call me anytime at 919-5264. 919-621-5264. And I have bookmarks for both books. So once you purchase them, I can get those bookmarks to you. And it has all of that pertinent information on there as well.
Well, thank you so much, Evelyn. I have enjoyed having you on Talk with TAS. I look forward to our next conversation. And to our audience, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, before you go trying to take care of someone else, make sure you take care of yourself first. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.